Well, I would say for my first crappie on new One Standard baits, this is a pretty good one. One Standard is a new jig brand. People with decades of experience making soft plastics started a crappie only brand. Literally first crappie I catch, and it's a dandy.
What's up, everybody? It's Polish Pete. I am back in the studio here in Baxter, Minnesota. I was just fishing up in gorgeous Canada. Had an incredible time, although there were some seriously trying conditions. We did get the mission completed anyway, and we caught my first muskie up there. We did a bunch of fun stuff, but one of the things that I wanted, was a goal of mine when we got up there, was to pile into some big Canadian crappies.
Another dandy.
We had the opportunity to partner up with our friends at 1Standard and try out some of their brand new to the market crappie jigs and plastics up there when I was in Canada. And I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was. But these things worked, and they worked really well on some really big crappies. In fact, it was the star of the show when we were up there. It was an absolute blast. Caught a 15-inch crappie, which is an absolute monster for this guy. And I had a blast fishing this stuff. So I'm gonna go over a couple of the things I used when I was up there. And a lot of these baits from 1Standard are going to be versatile for anglers all over the country. If you're a tournament angler, if you're fishing southern reservoirs, if you're fishing small natural lakes like we have here in the Midwest, doesn't matter where, or 1Standard is going to have some sort of delivery method for you with their jig heads right now. There's more stuff coming. It's a brand new company. I did touch on this a little bit when we were in the boat fishing, but this is a group of anglers that started 1Standard that came from within the industry and have a ton of experience with plastics and jig heads. So all this stuff is being designed and manufactured by experts in this realm of pan fishing. And I'm going to start off with the bait jig here. So this is a jig head that's designed to have a natural presentation, whether you're using live bait or you're using a minnow style plastic, any style plastic, to make it look like a minnow. So it's got kind of a minnow shaped head with a gold eye there. That's one of my, I love gold eyes and baits. For some reason it's a confidence thing. I don't know if it matters or not, but it also has like a black nickel sickle style hook in it, which is becoming more and more popular. You could hang this jig head underneath a bobber. You could fish it, pendulum it through the water. That's actually what I was doing. I had my most success actually casting this out and bringing it back with the pendulum in my line, trying to keep it in a certain depth range. I knew those fish were pretty low down in the water column. I could see them on Mega Live 2, but they were coming up like crappies tend to do, feeding up on the bait.
You keep it just above the tree, they come and get it, and this is another dandy, Jer.
So I couldn't let it get too far down there, but I did want to work it kind of through different layers of the water column as it came back. And this pointed little head on this jig head helped with that.
That split tail minnow, the articulated little body on there, takes very little movement, and they devour the thing.
The plastic itself here, this is the Minnow One. Comes in two sizes here. You have a 2.75 inch and a 2-inch version of this minnow. It's got an articulated tail on it here. They call it the hinge tail. The tail fins here are pretty separated, and the tail does articulate, so you get a lot of action with very minimal movement of your rod tip. So all I was doing, if you look at when we were fishing, I was actually shaking my rod tip quite a bit, and it was making this tail dance very realistically as I pendulum the bait through the water column. So this is a very deadly, realistic presentation for you if you're into artificials, which I am. So you're gonna definitely wanna check out these plastics. Right now, this is the only shape family within the 1Standard brand, but stay tuned, there's more to come. And if they're anything like this one, effective-wise, as you can see, you're gonna be pretty impressed with the rest of the lineup. On to other shapes in the jig heads, they do, and I did catch some fish too, on the stacker jig. I wasn't using it for exactly what it's designed for. I was just using it as a delivery method for my plastic. I actually was trying to tie on little blades to the bottom of the stacker head. So this has got two eyes on it, and it's designed almost like a drop shot where your weight would actually be a jig head with a plastic on it or live bait. And you could stack multiple presentations on your line with this jig head. So check your local regs on that, but you know, where I'm at right here in Minnesota, I wouldn't be able to do that, but where we were in Canada, I would have been able to do that. I could run multiple rigs on one line like that. So that's a good one. Depending on where you are in the country, where you're targeting your crappies, you need to check out this jig head here. Lastly, you have the hair jig here. So this one is a very minnow looking presentation, designed, honestly, I think this thing's gonna shine underneath a float with a little bit of live bait on it, but this could be swim through the water columns, could be fished a whole bunch of different ways as well, but it does offer up a very realistic presentation. All of the jig heads that I mentioned here are available in 1/16 of an ounce and an 1/8 of an ounce. Just those two sizes, simplified. I like the really light ones like this for underneath a float, but that 1/8 ounce would be great for casting and covering water, especially with the conditions I was faced with. 1/8 ounce was your friend. You can get it out there, get it down. You can pay attention where your bait was in the water column. So that's kind of the way I look at it with the weights is if I'm gonna be fishing it in one spot, the 1/16 ounce is great because it's a natural presentation, but if I'm gonna cover water at all, that 1/8 ounce can help you out a little bit, especially with these light little presentations. But all three of those jig head families are available at 1standard.com, and the Minnow One, as it's called, is available right now. And if any of this stuff confuses you at all, like you don't know which would be best for you, or you wanna deploy all these tactics, all this stuff's available in a kit, an all-in-one kit, where all the different colors of the plastics are available, different colors in the jig heads, the different styles of jig heads are available in one kit, and it's a significant savings on 1standard.com. Go check that out and go catch some crappies.
Well, I'd have to say my first time fishing the 1standard stuff, it has impressed to say the least. Want to get your hands on some slabs? Go try out this 1standard stuff. It catches them.